Hustle in the lobby, bright lights, reflections. Screen flickers, tales of crime and affection. Baristas mix caffeine with tales of deception. Lawyers joke and shadows plot their redemption. Case files like popcorn scatter on the floor. Jury's out in line, folks begging for more. Quirky loopholes twist through every door. Paparazzi flash for the courtroom encore. Legal Shenanigans Theater, baby, where justice lasts. Crime and humor dance, baby, a curious path. Grab your ticket, honey, let the gavel smash. In the flood of laughter, see the road splash. Scoundrels.
I figured we'd add the warning, just in case people are new to understand what the hell's going on in here. Because sometimes I ask myself the same question.
Yeah, well.
And let's see. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing all of the Modly Mod stuff. T. Anita, welcome. 80s Music Man, DK Cripple, Alice G, welcome. So we are getting close to God, I hope when she stops talking. I just see Ben
Uh-oh, you cut out there for a sec. Uh-oh, Scooby. Did we lose you, Mo? Well, so far we have been watching this for quite a while now. And
Okay, I should be back.
yes, you're back. Yes.
I was like, damn ice, it's gonna kill me.
Yeah. So I was just gonna give a little recap as to where we were. But yeah, so we've been watching it for a while. Teacher won't shut up. She's thrown, I believe, anybody of Hispanic descent under the bus, is wildly racist. And
Yeah, pretty much the entire country of Mexico is a suspect. She's like,
yeah.
he's Mexican, and she's like, and the detective is like, that's not a descriptive. No, well, he's tan, like you might think I am Hispanic, but I am not. That is dirt.
Yeah, she's a little the racisms.
She and Sarah are gonna be best friends. I mean, just mildly racist and cahoots.
Yeah,
They're just gonna be besties or frenemies.
yeah, agree. Oh, we should throw like Shabusiness in there as the referee.
Shabusiness is there to fight the loser or the winner.
I saw that she was back in court this week.
Yeah, didn't she take a bite out of a prison guard? Or I don't know.
Yeah, she
I
attacked
have
the guard or something.
shamefully and against all better judgment fallen boobs deep into the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively thing. And I know it was like it's like the monkey paw. I know I should stay away from it, and I ignored it for so long. I was like, no, I cannot be involved. I ignored Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I can do this. I have ignored the Idaho case. I have ignored the Chris Watts case. And then I got sick one day, and I was like, oh crap, I'm stuck now.
Yeah, that's usually what'll get you. But the Chris Watts thing, I'm fascinated by that for some very, very strange reason, which I have zero explanation for. Yeah.
That one turned me off because I had not paid attention to any of it, and then it finally, I think at sentencing, I heard the mom blame the wife, and I was like, no, I can't, because I'm gonna be too pissed off at the mom the entire time, the Chris Watts mom.
Yeah, there's some weirdness going on there.
Howdy, Jen, Thunder and Lightning Mod. Welcome. All right, let's get into this. I do feel bad for this detective because she is just having to listen to this drivel from this woman who just will not be quiet and will not tell a coherent story.
Yeah. So.
All right,
Get
I think we are in
intimidated,
the point
Gordo.
where she is trying to figure out why she went into the basement when
Yeah.
supposedly Eduardo was there.
Yeah.
Like the colorful one?
Yeah, mine's like a teal color.
Okay. So you have a black one and a teal one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think those might be headphones
Yeah. She's
that they're talking
about the
about.
Apple Beats or whatever they're called.
She would pay a bunch of stuff for some beats instead of, just getting a $30 pair of earbuds.
Yeah. Well, it's the cool thing to have. And
Yeah.
as a 40-year-old woman, you need to be cool.
I'm surprised she didn't bring her Stanley cup.
She probably did.
Because, she is a walking billboard right now. She's got Pink and Hollister and whatever dirty shoes these are.
Yeah.
The only thing she's not repping is shampoo
Well,
or
there's
soap.
that. There's definitely that.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to cover that really quick. Okay. So you go downstairs. He's already obtained a gun. You think it's your black gun?
Well, no, I don't think. I saw the color black.
Okay.
So I was assuming.
Racist.
See, we were just telling you guys this.
No, but okay, this chick notices nothing. Allegedly invited some rando into her house, but she totally knows that's her force multiplier.
Yeah.
Sure.
But there's so many other important details that she does not recall.
No,
Or
it is very
remember.
interesting. Like, was Gannon there? Was there a suitcase? Did I let him go in first? All these are just a blur.
Yeah, well, and like the stupid echoing thing in the basement, where it's like we had talked about last week, because you were like, well, yeah, it would echo in the basement. It's like, yeah, but remember, Mo, she was having it carpeted. It's like it would
true.
echo.
I was
It's like-
thinking of my house with a slab and no carpet on it.
Yeah, it's like, but that was the whole reason that she invited this strange Hispanic dude over.
Yeah, just strange rando Hispanic dude that she was just cruising the neighborhood for. And she went up to him and she's like, he didn't really speak English, but I said I would donate, $50 to him. Just
Yeah.
for the love
donate.
of all
I'm
the...
like, I forgot about the stupid donate comment. Jesus.
She left a can of peas and some fried okra out.
Yeah.
What is going
It's like, did you leave him some corn tortillas? Because I bet that's what she would have did. It's like, good
And then he
Lord,
got all mad because she used salsa from New York City.
El Paso.
God, this chick is ridiculous. The sad thing is she'd be a great cartoon character if she hadn't done something so evil.
Yeah.
Like if she just had her own YouTube channel and she was an influencer, like I would watch the hell out of her channel just to make fun of it.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a delicate balance and ecosystem on the internet. You have locals and you have locale appreciators.
Yeah. Well, it was like the thing that we were talking about before, that we came up with a perfectly defensible excuse for Courtney Clenny, as to
yeah,
what
we
she
did.
could have defended herself in this case. And it's like,
Okay,
she was a Britney Spears fan, and she was trying to recreate the thing. And it's like, you know what? I could believe that with all the kids
I
eating
could
Tide Pods and everything else. I believe it.
I know. I could believe that, Courtney Clenny had like two sabers in her hand, just dancing her little behind off to Toxic, and then something happened.
Yeah, 100% believe that, because people do all kinds of such stupid things on the internet for clout. So like,
Yeah.
I would believe it.
Watch her defense come up with
They're probably
tomorrow.
gonna
I'm gonna
steal it.
wake up. I'm gonna wake up and we're gonna be like the toxic defense.
Yeah. Be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna have to call the victim's parents and be like, "Look, we were just joking.
Where I told you that my mind went through that was...
Fact's not an evidence that she has a mind that calculates at any degree."
Yeah. I can't argue
Like-
that.
No, she just, at some point, I think we have to agree that this chick has, well, look, she graduated before No Child Left Behind. It's a sad story.
Yeah.
I like how she points to her head so we know where her mind is, because she did have a question about where a mustache should go earlier, so.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that too.
It-
Oh, good lord.
That it was
our black gun.
right.
Now, at that time, I wasn't 100% if it was or not because there's plenty of black guns.
Sure. So tell me what happens next.
So, do you want me to go through the whole like assault again?
Well, we need to know like
Okay. Now, generally, and look, I'm not a bodyologist, and I fully believe that some people like me use deep and dark humor and maybe inappropriate facial movements to deal with deeply unsettling things. But when she is trying to, like, you want to tell me and you want me to talk about the essay, and she's smiling and smirking, good night.
She's like, yes, please tell me more. I want to
Like
hear
this
about...
chick is over here trying to 50 Shades of Grey it. No, we just need to know so we know where to look for DNA for this non-existent man, you freaking freak of nature.
Yeah, she's like, please tell me more about Aguaro.
like it's, you know, it ends with us. No, heifer, no one cares. We're trying to find Gannon.
Nobody cares about you.
That's my next t-shirt, y'all. And then we'll just put pictures of all these Hagathas up there. It'll be...
Yeah.
more specifics about it. So you said you saw him and that he had the gun and then he attacked you. How did he attack you?
Put your left foot in your...
She's like, I'm really working on this. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
And we're
And so-
only laughing because it didn't happen.
Yeah, to be fair, had anyone actually suffered or been a victim of anything, that is a terrible, terrible, gross injustice. You have the right and consent to say no over your body. But the fact that this heifer made this shit up is mockable, first of all, because she's trying to use the pain of others to get sympathy, and just villain behavior.
Yeah. Like, kind of, I mean, she is kind of dressed like Camilla DeVille, so it fits.
Oh, but Cruella always had good sense, and she'd never leave the house looking like this.
True. And she would have
mean-
at least 2 puppies with her.
Yeah, and Jin.
Well, yeah. And kind of a nice car.
I know. You know, if she wasn't so mean to animals, Cruella did have a point. Like, usually the people you hire don't do things right. You know, your friends being all Instagram perfect is annoying. I mean, I'm just saying she deserves redemption. I mean, and they made a diss track about her. Like, your best friend's husband makes a diss track about you.
Wait, what?
So you have to... I mean, it was East Coast, West Coast thing.
East Coast, West Coast. What? I
From
are you-
P. Diddy.
Oh.
Biggie.
The East Coast, West Coast thing with Tupac and all the. Okay, I
Ye-
got it. I was like,
yeah.
what? I was like, I missed something.
It's not a genre I generally know anything about, but I do know like certain big things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
To illustrate that, I thought Genuine's My Pony was about My Little Ponies until I listened to it when I was a little older.
Yeah.
I didn't know why he was such a fan of My Little Ponies, to be honest. That he had his own saddle, but I went with it until I started singing it, and my mom was like, "No."
Like, you don't understand the words that are coming out of your own mouth.
Yeah, I was like, "Mom, he just likes My Little Pony, and I love Applejack too."
And she's just
My
shaking
poor
her head.
mother.
Oh, she's like, one day.
She will grow up, or hopefully she'll be someone else's problem.
I know you said you worked with like victims and stuff before, but
Real victims.
Yeah, that's a problem.
it's hard to tell someone about people like touching you.
Sure, I get that.
Because it never happened.
Yes, please tell me where the imaginary man touched you.
She's going to ask for the bad touch doll.
Yeah.
She's been touched by an angel. Someone call Roma Downey and Della Reese and get them in here now. We've got a case to solve.
Oh my God. I remember that show.
My mom, okay, that show was like crack to 90s moms because it came on right before Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, which was also heroin for 90s moms for some reason. Okay, no.
Right.
Test out this theory. Play Celine Dion. It's all coming back to me now. And you will see your mother freeze and become nearly catatonic by the power of Celine Dion. I'm telling you, it works.
I can't argue with that, actually. I bet that is probably true. Because
I'm telling you,
basic-
turn on the nanny, and you will just have it's 90s mom crack. They will come in and be like, I can't believe it took them 7 damn seasons for, Mr. Sheffield and the nanny to get together, and then we only get to see them married for 1 season. I mean, you will open up some bitterness in some women. You bring up the nanny.
Yeah. Well, and that was with like oh God, what was the other show? Seventh
Oh.
Heaven.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
another one that moms loved until you
Yeah,
found
because
out the
it's-
dad was diddling kids in real life.
Well, yeah,
Whoops.
I mean, damn. I mean,
Oops.
they could have let it go on. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But you could do that though with me, like any 90s grunge or alternative. Like that comes on, it has my complete attention.
oh, I know. It's just funny because I swear if because my mom's like, she just retired and she's like, do you know they have an entire channel for like old sitcoms? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, we're just watching all of them. And I was like, good for you, Mom.
Yeah. Tubi.
Yes. All right, let's listen to this woman make something up.
Can I just need to like not relive that right now. Can I get a little bit?
Like, you want to take a break, or?
I just you're wanting me to give you like play-by-play basically of an assault is very hard for you to ask me to do.
Okay.
That's not like me explaining how to play a game.
Here's the problem with that being hard for you, Letecia. Because most mothers, regardless of embarrassment to themselves, would say, look, this is what happened. Please find my son. Like, don't worry about me. I'll do whatever you need me to do, but let's get to my son.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that little issue. But it never happened. It never happened, though, so...
If she wasn't the girl with the dragon tattoo a hacker? She might have taken all of her Google searches, how to find a rich man, how to get rid of my stepson, fake paternity or not paternity, polygraphtest.com.
Polygraph test, yeah, that's right. Oh my
This
God, I
heifer.
forgot that she did that. Jesus. The amount of just stupidity.
Yeah, because they had to call some guy all the way over from England, because apparently it's based in England, and their policy, because she got all pissed off and called customer service because they wouldn't send her the results that basically confirmed that she knew nothing about Gannon's disappearance, because it clearly says, like, this is for, cheating, basically,
Yeah.
or petty larceny, but not for, like, actual felonies.
Yeah. It's like, we're good with you getting away with having an affair. However, when you step into the, the murder field,
Yes.
we're no longer okay with this.
And she gave her like full name and everything. Like, yeah, so like I asked a bunch of questions, and one of them was, did I unalive or do anything to my stepson? And I put in no. And I just need that if you would give it to me.
Yeah. And that is her exact voice that's going on in my head, even though I know it's not her actual voice, but it sounds so much more soothing than her real voice.
Yeah. But, and look, as a genlennial woman, can I speak to us? Look, not every sentence needs to end in an upward inflection, because that makes me think that you're always asking me a question, and I'm not quite sure what to do with that. So stop. You sound like you're ridiculous and you don't have conviction to say things. You're allowed to take space. You're not allowed to be a C word. But could you stop do the little girl voice and the upward inflection? Because holy God.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to re-education vocal training when I become empress, because the vocal fry thing will stop. Vote for me 2028. Vocal fry will stop.
Yeah.
Mo wins in a landslide.
There's a few people that I like to watch things who definitely have that, who are of the female variety.
Paris Hilton just gone.
Yeah, well,
They're all the Kardashians. Just
I don't know if I've actually heard a Kardashian speak.
I have seen clips. I don't know how do they have full ass seasons of these women talking? Because I can barely take the little snippets.
I don't know. I legit I don't understand the fascination with these people. It's like, I don't get it. Like, I really
Kim,
don't.
I'm gonna need you to come to the front of the congregation right here and explain what the hell you did to Kanye West. Now, I get he was a little different-y when you met, okay? He was in as-in condition, so I'm not, like, putting all the blame. But what the actual ever-living Schnell did you do to this man that he is just parading his new wife's clam everywhere?
Is that her name? Clam?
Well, no, but I saw her lady bits, so I feel like we have a relationship now.
Oh my God.
Look, I was prepared to see her nipular region. I wasn't prepared to see full lady lips. I was like, oh, dear God, oh my. And he's just over here like, that's mine. And I'm like, I didn't consent to any of this. Where do I get the bad touch doll?
Yeah, of course, because it was such a big thing, the story, I was like, because I definitely don't follow the Grammys, and it was just like, I don't understand what is happening. Like, and then what's the Smith kid showing up with a stupid castle on his head?
And his sister has a jade tooth. I legitimately thought she had spinach or one of those terrible kale smoothies on her teeth. I felt bad for her. I was like, did no one tell? Like, these people have assistants.
You think they would?
And then half of the chicks look like they just got half. I was just like, I don't. It's weirdly comforting that you're doing okay as an adultish human being when you're like, I don't know any of these people, and I don't care.
Yeah, that's
You understand why Rhett Foreman just sometimes sat and smiled to himself? Because he's
yeah,
like, I just don't give two shits about anything that's going on really around, like in the big world. Like, I'll put my foot up your ass if I think you're screwing up and gonna screw up your life. But for the most part, my wife's over there making margaritas. My kids are out smoking hash in the in the
yeah,
basement, and
in
I'm
the
okay with
basement.
life.
Yeah,
I got a mortgage, but I felt distinctly like Rhett Foreman, like dumbasses, and then I just closed it.
yeah. I just I just don't follow like a lot of people like that because they feel so removed from like the reality that I'm aware of that I'm like
Beyonce won a country music award. I am done. Can we reset the Matrix now?
I would like and from what I
John,
understand.
I have not, and I'm afraid.
Oh God.
I'm afraid to.
Like if it was a genuine like I don't know anything about this, like I heard that she won a country album thing. If it was genuinely a country thing, then like that's fine. Like I know Post Malone put out a country thing, even though he was a rapper pop guy. Um, but it's
It's this.
genuinely country.
It's genuinely country. Just seems like a sneering, like I can take over your genre cynically.
Like Taylor Swift.
Well, she's. Can we talk about kidults? Oh my God. This chick is my age, okay? Ma'am. Ma'am. I'm gonna need you to stop. Look, Alanis Morissette did the breakup song really well because we didn't even know who You Oughta Know was about until like many years later. And that's what made it kind of universal because we've all been in relationships where things haven't gone wrong. And then she wrote, other songs just about herself.
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard a song from that chick that isn't about, like, oh, I'm going to drink, or oh, he's mean, or teardrops on my guitar.
Yeah. Or why a 15-year-old is fantasizing about Tim McGraw, who was like 50 at the time.
Well, I mean, Tim McGraw is cute, not gonna lie. And my first crush was Alex Trebek, which did land me in therapy, but it was honestly because he had an awesome mustache and, knew all the answers to the questions. I didn't have a weird Oedipus thing or, Electra thing. I really was attracted to him knowing all the answers. It's like, he's so smart. I need someone smart when I grow up. Therapist said I was fine. I just like smart people.
That's funny.
Very difficult to explain what you remember.
Well, and we can take it slowly, and
That's what
you
she
can
said.
tell me what you remember, what happened, and stuff like that. I want to make sure that you're okay, and I want to try and find Gannon, right?
Right.
Okay, so the more details that I have, the better it is that I'm going to be able to try and help you and to try and help Gannon.
Right.
Okay?
Well, me telling you about an assault on me is not going to get, like, a faster result unless we, like, actually put some action.
Did this bitch was like, look, you have impossible DNA of the suspect. It's kind of gonna bother me and hurt my feelings. So why don't you just focus on Gannon, okay?
Yeah. And it's like, it's not going to help. It's like, well, have you heard of an R-Kid? And that's when she's like, oh, you know what? I'll tell you now.
Again, even if it was, can I just write it down? Again, this detective, even though her voice is utterly, the pitch of it just goes to kind of that nasally frequency that bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else, like I said, I am pretty sure I'm an alien that was dropped off on this planet to, assimilate and then report back. But certain frequencies sound very yellow to me, if that makes any sense. Probably not,
Okay.
but it's just very, very sharp.
Oh yeah. I know what you're referring to. I wouldn't phrase it that way, but I know exactly what you're talking about, because I also have a certain frequency range that I just can't hear.
So
And
it
for
just,
a strange reason, it's always a higher frequency, which just happens to be the frequency that women speak in. So I don't know
well,
if there's a
yeah.
relation there.
Well, no, because I used to do choir and stuff. So when you're an alto, you definitely can't sing as high as a soprano. And if you try to force your voice, it gets that really kind of tense, I call it a sharp nasally kind of sound,
Yeah.
because you're trying to get the higher registers and you just don't have the range yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that particular strain sound, just I can't do. And she is hitting that right there. So I'd be like, I know you're trying to help me, sweetheart. And I'm sure you're a great, great person. And this is a me thing, not a you thing. But I cannot stand your voice. Could you get out of here?
Yeah.
And you feel bad because it's nothing they're doing personally, but it's just like your frequency right now is making me want to jump off a wall. So if you could just stop.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Okay, I'm glad. I was like, oh, for the love of Cheetos. Maybe I'm just weird.
No, no. I totally understand, actually. I
Well,
really
and
do.
it's the same frequency that, like, I will get overstimulated by, because it is in that same frequency range as the backup forklifts that they use at Sam's Club. So I will be in there, and if they're using multiple of those at the same time, I just have to push my cart over and stand until they're done, because it is so distracting and repellent to me, that
Yeah.
beep noise.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mo's like, what? And I'm like, I can't move, they're beeping.
Yeah, no, there are some sounds that like they definitely like make you feel a very strange way. Like there are definitely
Yes.
sounds like that everybody has, maybe you've never heard it yet. But
We're on our way to finding the brown note.
we are well on our way there.
into it, you know?
What do you
Like-
mean?
Like, I don't know, like action, is it too late to like check your body? I mean, is it
No, it's not.
like those type of things? Is that like,
It's not too late at all, actually. No, it's not. And if you want to do that, we can actually absolutely get that set up so that we can make that happen. So it's definitely not too
is
late.
it like a private?
And right here is where she knew she done fucked up.
Yeah.
She's like, no, it's been a couple days. Well, we're not gonna be able to find anything. And the detective's like, no, we could, up to like a week. We are good.
Yeah. So like, well, we know you haven't showered anyway.
Look
So-
at these eyebrows. This is when you can see her soul physically like trying to leave her body. Like, bitch, you are on your own.
Yeah.
Like, heifer, we got the hot pocket. We are gone. You are dealing with this shit on your own. We told you to not do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I keep getting these scam texts for me to pay this fast track kind of toll thing, and I'm like, I'm an Insidian. I don't go anywhere. This is really the wrong, sort of scam to play on me.
I legit got one of those the other day, and I've never even seen one. Like, as to what it is. Like, I'm aware of what it is. Like, I know certain states have, like, tolls and, like, stuff like that on roads. And, like, I've never been around one where I have lived. And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's
I don't understand why I'm getting
plus it's
this.
from like a foreign internet number. It's got like
Oh,
two
yeah.
prefix numbers and then like 18 different. I'm like, yeah, no, Joe from Kenya, I will not be paying for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I will go full on sovereign citizen. Those federal marshals be at my door for my toll fee, and I'll be like, I did not contract with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that.
Like area, or like how does that work?
So what it's called a SANE exam, and they're done by forensic nurses
Okay.
at the hospital.
Okay. So it's like in a actual. People
Yep.
wouldn't know that's what you're there for.
Nope. And so, I mean,
Giblets, ma'am. No, they don't say, hey, y'all, we got someone coming in here for a very, uncomfortable exam when you were already just, dealt with something terrible. No, they don't announce that.
Yeah. They're not calling out, hey, Doctor XYZ, can you please come to exam room 6
Yeah,
for...
it's not like the Walmart oil change. We need Letecia back here for, her oil change and lube. Letecia, you have some tire problems in rotation.
And to be fair, she does have some oil problems.
Well, yeah, but there's just that's a lot to ask a Walmart dude to do. That's a,
Yeah. That's
too
more than a
much.
Jiffy Lube can handle.
Yeah, I mean, even when they take out the fake air filter that's yours and show you a clean one.
Yeah.
And as a dumb girl, I have fallen for that once, and then my stepdad's like, no, they keep a bad filter back there. You don't need an air filter every time you go in. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
Yeah, places can do sleazy things like that to people who don't know. Because, like, when I was young, somebody tried doing that to me. And I'm like, I know what my air filter looks like, and that's not it.
Oh, see, I didn't. They could have brought out a Bissell air thing for a vacuum cleaner, and I'd been like, oh my God, that's disgusting.
It's like, oh God, yes, please change it. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, I was so naive. And then you meet like a good mechanic who's like, oh my God, no, you don't need an air. Because I think I went to another place and said, oh, do I need the air filter this time? And he's like, how many times have you bought an air filter? And I was like, every time I get my oil changed.
And he's like, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah. Although, okay, so I will tell you, I was very, very irritated. My niece had moved in with us. This was like as embarrassed as and having heard that previous story, I don't think you can understand the embarrassment I had. So my niece moved in and she was, just moving into the real world, so didn't know anything. And we had to take the car that we were letting her drive into the shop. And we were getting stuff out of the trunk because it was like, hey, I don't know how long this car is going to be in the shop. You need to get all your stuff out.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to paint the scene. I have dark hair at this point because I use artificial intelligence. So I've got a bunch of blonde kids in my people mover. And my niece is brunette at the time, so we look more related than the little people I'm carrying in the people mover. And I was like, she looked at the tire in the spare tire. Mm-hmm. And she said, do I need to take the spare tire with me in case I get a different car?
Yeah.
And I was trying to say something that didn't rhyme with any curse word. And I was like, no, sweetheart, the spare stays with that particular car. Because spares aren't universal. And she's like, oh, I just didn't know why I ever had an extra tire in my trunk. And the mechanics are all looking at me like I have done just a horrible job raising this child. And I am trying not to say anything mean because I know I was just teed off and beyond irritated. And I was like, no, that is the spare. Please go get in the car. Because part of me wanted to tell her, yes, you can in fact not get into another car unless you take your own spare. Didn't you read that on on your driver's license? I was gonna. Part of me wanted to have that poor sweet girl just carrying a tire everywhere with her.
That would have been funny once, but I would have started feeling bad.
I know.
Been like,
It was
okay, it was funny for the first time, but
it was the one and only time where I managed to breathe through where I wanted to just, say the mean thing. And then I was
yeah.
like, no, please just. I was like, for the love of all that is Cheetos, I am losing the battle with sarcasm. I'm trying to be Anakin right now, not Darth Vader, but if you stay here in my presence, I cannot control him.
Yeah.
And Letecia would bring out my Darth Vader. Like, I would have no chill for her. This detective is being so nice. Because I'd have said, look, I'm going to give you 15 minutes because I'm tired of stupid and I need a drink. When I get back here, maybe you'll tell me the truth. Otherwise, you can just sit in a cell. How about that?
Yeah. Because her partner's still gone.
I know her partner's like, see ya, bitch.
She's like, I kind of don't like you anyway, so you lose. Howdy.
Next time you won't cheap out on the Christmas, Secret Santa and
Yeah.
Basil's.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the nurses would,
Right.
but not like just whoever else is in the hospital. No. And so, because it is like because it's a forensic thing and because it's part of a criminal case, obviously this person who assaulted you, so that we could gather evidence to make sure that, when we find them, that we can prosecute them and stuff like that. We would want to take you over there to the hospital, and we get the forensic nurse to come and talk to you.
Okay.
And then they have paperwork to go over with you, just like any other kind of like bureaucracy or anything else like that, right? And they get your permission to gather that evidence from you and to do an exam. Okay. And they're all females, all the nurses.
Okay.
So, they have their process that they go through, and they collect all that evidence, and then that's turned over to us.
Okay.
So it's not too late at all to do
Okay.
that.
So that was my...
But we need to know what happened, because just like if, and this is just like a totally off the wall example, but like if your kid comes in and tells you,
Yeah.
hey, mommy, I'm hurt because
Yeah.
I fell down, well, you need to know where they fell and how they fell and whatnot so you can help them.
But that's the easy,
Right.
easy thing that when you're doing...
This heifer trying to get sympathy for herself is the most grating thing in all of this Matrix.
Yeah.
It's like, but think about me. It's not the Helen Lovejoy. Won't somebody think of the children? It's, won't somebody think of me?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I have a lot of issues, obviously, with her generally. But I guess I just don't understand why, like, you wouldn't, as you said earlier, like, why she wouldn't be as a mother or stepmother, why she wouldn't be, like, more willing to want to help if all of this was true, right? Why wouldn't she want to be more helpful, even though it's not going to be comfortable? Like, why would you not
that's the
want to
thing.
help?
Most parents, I mean, you see it on the news every once in a while. Like, a mom will get, in a car wreck and she has 2 broken arms, but she manages to rip off the door, to save her baby.
Yeah.
I mean, to lesser extents, I mean, I think all parents have done that. Like, they'll be feeling sick and they still get up and...
Yeah. They have the ability to put themselves aside to help their child. Like, that makes perfect sense to me. But why, in this case, by just talking about something very simple, like that she won't like she just can't bring herself to do it because it's just so painful. And it's like,
yeah.
again, if it did happen, it's like I understand why it would be very uncomfortable, but it's like, but it's still going to help you find your child.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's, it's beyond insanity.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
Well, he was coming in to get his iPad because he lost it. He got glasses about 4 weeks ago, and we told him very distinctly to not lose his glasses. And now they are lost with my room in, boxes in 5 different rooms. So we don't know if he lost his glasses because it's packed in with my stuff or he genuinely lost his glasses. So he has a reprieve on losing his iPad for now.
Yeah. Well, as somebody who has been wearing glasses since he was like 3 or something like that, he will learn very quickly.
Well, that's why I feel so bad. He has a really bad astigmatism, and I felt bad because I never noticed. But he never complains about anything being blurry. So it's like, kid, why didn't you tell me you couldn't see? He's like, I don't know, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't bother him at school because he didn't want to see. So he's like,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and because I have really bad astigmatism too, but like my solution to said problem was just stand like 2 feet away from the TV. It's fine. You can see perfectly fine then.
He did sit really close, but it didn't put 2 and 2 together because he also just is kinetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so him sitting, close to something didn't really clue me off. And then the eye doctor's like, oh, holy crap, he has a really bad astigmatism. And I was like, well, there goes Mom of the Year. Damn.
Yeah. It took them for a while to figure it out with me too, because like my parents didn't put it together as to why I was like always standing close to TVs or to things that I was trying to read or to see clearly. Like they just never put it together because you don't think about it. And then when you suddenly have said problem and it's like, oh, look.
Well, yeah, and I'm worried he's going to get headaches because his eyes got used to having his glasses. Now he doesn't have them. And I'm just like, they're bright damn red. How did you lose bright damn red glasses? I got bright... I'm going to put an air tag on them, I swear to goodness.
Yeah. I hear you.
Doing several different things in your brain, and not to mention you're being violated physically. It's hard to give that specific, details. I remember the pushing me in the room. I remember having my head hit. I remember those things.
Sure. And what I'd like for you to do...
I remember my...
Can we do a no holds bar reenactment for science, please? Asking for a friend. Because I'd be cool with, a enactment with everything that Letecia is gonna done say.
Yeah. It would be entertaining. But I think we're going to get a little bit more than just a reenactment. We're going to get some live action of some other activities.
It just, again, so you're telling me a man is going to, is there trying to rob you or whatever. We don't rob, install carpet because, he did rob her, but he's like, I'll do the carpet. I mean, she did donate $100 to me.
Yeah.
So he's in the middle of, after burgling her force multiplier and the money, he did decide to do the carpet, but then he's like, no, I'm going to rob them. Oh, wait, this is a woman. I'm going to violate her. Yeah. While he's doing said thrusting, I'm sure he's not able to control Gannon, who is now free to run anywhere.
God.
So,
didn't he technically do the carpet?
God, ew. I have a very... Oh, now Kanye's naked wife is Kanye Letecia naked. Damn it. All right, well, this sucks. You know that full body shake, like when you,
Yes.
okay, and you get goose flesh all over you. Oh my God, great,
Yeah.
thank you. Now I've been completely grossed. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, you know, I do make everyone remember the Captain Planet theme song on a regular basis, so I do I do deserve it.
Clothes getting taken off.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't want to be telling you this got taken off. I don't want to be on that.
And that's not what it is.
I would tell that to like a nurse, you know, in the specifics, so that that could assist in the process. But maybe I would. I say I would, but I don't know. It's just a hard thing to be like, okay, your pants are tight. You remember this, you remember that, like that.
Sure. And really, we need to know, like, the narrative of it, and there will be some stuff that I would ask specifics of, and if you remember, you remember, and if you don't, you don't. Or what you can say is, you know, well, I remember that, but I don't want to say.
No, I'm not trying to not tell you anything. I just,
Bitch, that is exactly what you are trying to do.
Yeah, like she was like, mm-hmm, uh-huh, uh-huh. I 100% believe you, Letecia. Mm-hmm.
And again, this woman has seen enough victims. I am sure she is completely accommodating to if they want to point, if they, like, I can't say the words, can I just, you know, show you? I am sure that, excuse me, the forensic nurses and the actual detectives that have to deal with this on a daily basis, if there was a real, honest victim, they
Yeah.
would be incredibly kind and, you know, cater to whatever they needed.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and they might be a little bit resistant, but again, at some point she just is dumber than a box of rocks, because you can tell she obviously did not think of an actual narrative for this attack. Figured she could just say the word, you know, the R word, and everything would stop and no one would ask any questions, instead of that being a crime.
Yeah. She didn't put enough forethought into like having to explain all of these things and like, hey, they're gonna want to run a kit and stuff on her and all this. Like she didn't think about it. It's like, and
It go-
which is
it
yeah,
goes
it's just dumb.
it goes back to the foundational problem with all of these people. They did not expect anyone to think about the victim.
Yeah, exactly.
That she expected everyone to think that Gannon walked away and ran away, and that she would plant, you know, the bath salt story and the Swiffer suite, you know, I think gas station cigar in his backpack, and everyone would just believe, like, oh, you know, I'll say some really bad things about Landon, his biological mother. She's had issues with substance abuse. You know, she's doing better, but I'll just say, look, you know, like mother, like son, you know. She
Yeah,
assumed that that would be, and that Albert would be fine, you know, and she would have two adoring daughters, a husband who, you know, loved her. Maybe they would have a kid, and everyone would just assume Gannon, you know, became one of those nameless people we see sometimes but don't acknowledge.
yeah, and that
It
is just crazy. Like it's just
it
a
is
crazy thought.
it is so devoid of any understandings of relationships.
Yeah,
I'm not a doctorologist, but she is not built like the rest of us.
yeah. I
And
mean, it's it's funny because as a teenager who ran away multiple times, um, I had the same lack of thought. It's like, oh well, like it'll be fine. Like I'm old enough. Like they're not gonna care. Like, and that is the furthest thing from the truth.
yeah, yeah. And, you know, and every parent goes through this with their kids. I'm unfortunately now in the uncomfortable position of where, my teenage kids are realizing I'm human, and I made some mistakes early parenting when I was a new parent. Doesn't excuse the mistakes I made, but they're seeing me as human without the perspective of having that life experience to not excuse but get how incredibly all difficult things are. So you get so mad at your parents for being human and making mistakes with you, and then you grow up and realize just how hard it is. And now I'm in that cycle of where I'm having to absorb a lot of this and remember that, there will be a time when perspective is gained.
Yeah.
Abs- Jung, so my motto is, trying to be better, and I did this about 10 years ago, was it's not an excuse, but there are reasons for my behavior if you would like to hear them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just people want to know why.
Yeah, and it is hard to, have your kids go from that toddler kind of love where you could do no wrong, except when you told them no, to having them realize you're just as flawed and human as the rest of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then this heifer, ugh. Again, Elon Musk, I am totally cool with you colonizing Mars. I'm just saying, when I'm elected president, these heifers are the first to go over there to terraform. Hey, the federal prison system can be the, interstellar prison system as far as I'm concerned.
But they have to be able to sustain themselves. And no offense to Tisha or some of
Veilhammer,
the
it's
other
going to be a
ladies.
reality show. We are
Yeah.
going to fix the national debt. We are going to be a national abundance. We are going to be a surplus for the first time in nation's history. All do okay. Jung, how are you with them colonizing Phobos and Deimos? Because
I'm okay with
they're
Demos
sounds good.
because it sounds like demons. So screw
I'm
that
good with
planet.
that. And eventually they are going to crash into Mars, so I'm kind of okay.
Yeah. I mean, they are all kind of a dumpster fire anyway, so.
I love that my inner child is a psychopath. My inner child is just
But is it really your inner child, Mo?
Phobos and Deimos are the satellite moon/moonlets that
Moons,
orbit
yeah.
Mars.
Yeah, they're the moons of Mars. Yeah.
And they're eventually going to crash in because they're decreasing in their acceleration and their orbit is collapsing. And I'm
Yeah.
just saying, I would pay to watch that happen with a colony of these creepos. Holy
Yeah.
God. Enhanced me is, you are lucky I don't have powers. Holy crap, the Darth Vader I would be. Okay, but here's the thing, not to go all Stranger Things, but I would be an asshole Avenger. So if I'm just taking care of a-holes, am I really bad?
I mean, there's the ever question, right? Of and this is something that is, I think, inherently wrong with the justice system, generally speaking, is everybody actually guilty? That is always the inherent question that I have. Some
Okay.
people, Halderson, definitely guilty.
Well,
Some
yeah.
people like
I mean,
Tisha.
it would only be the deaf guilty and possibly people that really annoy me. But only once a year.
Well, see, we could tell them that. So we could tell them that the men are on Mars. And so when they eventually crash into it,
They think they're going to meet some men's.
yeah.
Sarah would put on her pink little shorty shorts.
But of course, here we go. But because if we send all the men to Mars and all the women to either Phobos or Deimos, and eventually it crashes into it, all the guys on Mars are going to go Of course it did, right?
Damn female drivers can't even get an asteroid right. What the hell? Look, in our defense, we were trying to parallel park. I failed that part of my driving test.
The parallel parking. So
Yes.
I'll tell you, so like when I did my driving test to do the parallel parking, so like they took me downtown in the thriving metropolis of downtown Des Moines, Iowa. Uh, when I was whatever 16 or whatever it was, 15.
Oh no, they set
And
you up for failure.
they had me park somehow in the entire state of Iowa circa 1996 or whatever it was. In the entire state of Iowa, they found the one Mercedes-Benz and the one BMW that had a space in between it and said, figure it out. And I was like, okay, I guess this is a thing. So I did perfect though. So, but that was because I was nervous that I was going to hit, one of these really nice cars.
Oh,
But
I would have I'd have been like, go ahead and fail me. I'm going to try this again. Can we possibly stay in Mayberry?
But I also, well, because I went to because my school had like a 3-year long driving waiting thing at the school. So like I ended up going to like a private place. But
Oh, yeah.
so I also ended up with the same guy told me, hey, because you and the person that I was paired up with live out in the country, like you guys need to learn how to drive on dirt roads. So like I'm gonna take you guys out onto a dirt road.
Oh,
And
shit.
because he has brakes and crap on his side, he's like, I'm gonna get you guys up to like 45, 50 miles an hour, which by the way is above the speed limit on a dirt road. So he was gonna have us break the law as new drivers. And
Good
then,
idea.
and then he's like, and then I'm gonna slam on the brakes and you have to correct it. And I'm like,
What's
try
his-
me.
What's his last name? Like Duke? Like, what the
I don't, but I told him, I was like, I straight up told this guy, I'm like, if you do that, I was like, I'm letting go of the steering wheel. And he's like, okay, guess we're not doing that today. And I'm like, yeah, I understand how you're supposed to be able to fix it, how you're supposed to be able to correct, when you're out of control and stuff like that. But at 15 years old, and you're wanting me to go faster than we should be going and all this other stuff. It's like,
you
don't
were a
think
good
that's safe.
15-year-old because I would be that kid in the back that's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna die. This is great. Great. Alanis didn't even, drop her next album and here I'm listening to Creed. Oh God, what was that horrible Creed song? Can you take me higher? And I'm just listening to this horrible god awful song. But that was the worst part of driver's ed was my little driver's ed teacher, his rule was whoever's driving got to pick the music channel. And I
Yeah.
don't know if they were contractually obligated to play both Nickelback and Creed at ever insanity inducing levels during the late 90s and early aughts.
Yeah.
But it was just like, when you're like, I hope I don't survive this crash. Fuck it. Just let's go. Like, okay, Tiffany, let's try parallel parking, Tiffany. Let's just do it. Like, you're just done.
Yeah.
You're like Mel Gibson in every, Road Warrior movie. You're like, just leave me. Just
Yeah.
leave me. I'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a wild time. And it was just like, I didn't understand how this guy was a driving teacher.
You know what? It would have been much easier. I would like to talk about my struggle of having to listen to horrible music when I could not put my earphones in to listen to my CD player because I had to pay attention to the road as a passenger.
Wait, what?
And
They made you pay
Yes.
attention?
yes, the driving teacher was like, you know what? You need to be able to observe things even as a passenger because it might be your job to pay attention to blind spots or something if the driver, calls it out at any time.
What?
And I was like, again, if they play Creed one more again, I'm not saying nothing when the iceberg comes up, okay?
I had not heard that. It's like, I mean, I've definitely told a passenger to like move their head if it's in the way. Because like I'm still like of the mind, like I hate cameras in cars. I hate them. So like I still turn around to look. And
I don't trust the little light up things on my mirror because they don't, I swear to God, they don't light up. The one time I think I use them and I look and there's something there, or they light up when no one's there. I'm like, oh,
oh, like are they sensors or something? Mm-hmm. Huh. I don't know. I like not super technological vehicles personally. It's like I'm a very tactile person.
oh no, I am becoming decadent. Like I want the car starter thing,
Oh yeah,
or the
those are
remote
nice.
starter
Yeah.
because but I mean, it is. I still think it's weird to not have a key. I still think there's something demonic about not having a key. I still, it feels wrong.
Yeah, so like I have in my car, it has a fob, right? Like that has that weird funky key
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
But if you actually like there's a physical key inside of it. Like on mine at least.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how everybody else's works, but like mine has a physical key like that is
I think
inside.
mine is like that. I don't know where the keyhole is.
It's the same hole.
I swear to God.
It's just some things are a little bigger than others that you put in the keyhole.
The pretty Letecia. Oh, I have something for this. Back to car talk with, Mo and Veilhammer as Mo learns what a car is.
Yeah. Even though
No,
I experienced something I've never experienced before in a car this week.
did you say any hoozle? Because I'm sorry.
I didn't. No, like I did say that a few times this week, but
Again, I apologize.
so it sleeted one day this week, and it didn't look super icy and stuff. So like the other day, I started backing out the car of the driveway, and as soon as all four tires hit the driveway, I
Oh,
realized that
no.
there was not any stopping. And I just slid all the way down the driveway. I'm like, oh my God, my car. And
Oh,
but
no.
it was fine. Like I live in a cul-de-sac, so there wasn't any
Oh.
traffic or anything. But
Well, that's
I was
good.
I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was supposed to be all motivated and in between streams today, go get anything we needed in case we got iced in because my neighborhood is basically both ways out, or up and down steep hills, so there's
Yeah.
just no getting out.
Yeah, and you
Although
guys
a-holes with four-wheel drive definitely think they can with ice. I just love to watch it. It's
I love watching people in four-wheel drive think that it works on ice. It works great in snow, but
yes.
once wet things turn to ice, it's not gonna help, cause that just makes there's more wheels spinning, baby. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's not how any of this works. But you know,
Well, let's get back to Letecia asking stupid questions and not talking about her stepson that's missing.
yeah, spinning wheels, full circle.
Previously on Letecia's Lies. Now back to our regular programming.
It's just a hard process. I guess maybe I'm thinking you're asking me too much details. Maybe I'm overthinking what you're asking me. So do you want me?
Her overthinking is impossible, I would just like to state.
Yeah.
That's an impossibility. Your Honor, facts not in evidence.
Yeah.
Me to like I said, do a play-by-play of what I remember, like as far
Sure.
as like
What-
closing.
Like,
and,
we'll just start at the beginning and tell me what happened, okay?
so, sorry, I just don't think that's going
Sure.
So when he pushed me into the room,
Okay.
I remember like a battle process of like, like back.
What in the fake 300 is she talking about? She's like, I was Spartan kicking him, and then I was gonna go for the neck in a, full suplex or whatever, and then I knife kicked him, and I used my knife hands, and then I did a Spock Vulcan, mind meld.
Yeah. I don't actually know what she's talking about. Oh, yeah.
Nanya, the only thing that you have to remember is nothing in this room matches anything in this room. This room is a crime against humanity.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, I lied. These two pillows match each other. Nothing else matches but these two pillows.
Yeah.
Forth, like that type of thing. I remember that type of thing.
Tell me more about that. The battle back and forth.
Well, if someone, he's not much bigger than me, so it's not like it was this big, powerful
Body
person.
shaming.
I feel like I'm fairly kind of a little strong.
Sure.
So it wasn't.
How the fuck do you add a humble brag into your essay story?
Yeah. I was like, I
Like,
can't
I
tell
do
if that's
P90X.
if that's insulting as to like saying that Hispanic people are not large in stature, or if she's just like not doing that intentionally, but it's hard not to think that she's not doing it intentionally because she's been so racist with everything else that she said.
Well, it's so weird that she wants you to think she's a delicate victim, but it's also very important to her self-image that she fought back and she's strong. She is Juicy Smollying this all the hell.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. It's like, I don't know, like, it's just hard not to hear those things when she says them, and not go
Yeah.
like, I can't tell if she's being racist or what
Or
is
she's-
happening here.
It's definitely, I think, an ego thing. And she did remember that she made Eduardo kind of similar height, similar build to herself.
Yeah,
But the thing is, a man is still, even, this is kind of deep, louder with Crowder lore, but if you remember Courtney, what's her face, she did all like the CrossFit and not late Jared. They had
Oh,
like an arm
yes.
wrestling thing. I mean,
Yes.
and Jared looks like he is vegan. Let's be real. Like Jared looked like, a slight wind would push him over. And Courtney
Yeah.
was all like buffed out. And
Yeah.
he beat her in arm wrestling. So
yeah,
tell me you haven't been in a real, life or death fight with a man without telling me you haven't.
yeah. It's a physicality thing that's just different, and it's hard to listen to. Well, here's a great example. There's that ASAP Rocky case that's going on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like the prosecutor said something about how he punched him or he slapped him or something with an open hand, and then said something else like that he hit him with a closed fist or something like that. And the judge actually was like, wait a second. He's like, you're saying that he got all this on his face from getting slapped around with an open hand? Like the judge actually did that. Like he interrupted and he's like, clearly, Mr. Prosecutor, you've never been hit in your gentle little face. He's like, so it's like, it was just funny to see that. And it's like,
It is funny because, some people, again, life experience is so valuable. And what people don't get is you can't learn, in college that, this is going to make your jaw wired shut. But when you lead a full life in addition to going into college, you have that experience that that prosecutor didn't.
Yeah, exactly. It was just one of those moments that I was like, I mean, even when I heard it, I was like, wait, what did he say? like,
I,
it
I
was
just
just,
do love that she added a humble brag, like, not for nothing,
yeah,
but I am a hero, if you will, a heroine in my own right. I'm just like, oh, for the
yeah.
love of God.
And of course, she would have had to clarify. She's like, that means a female hero, not the drug.
Yeah, she's such an idiot. Oh my gosh. I'm a doctor.
Uh-huh.
They just hear get on the ground. It was, like getting, like, move around the room. Uh, I don't really remember, like, which direction.
Sure.
After I hit my head the first time, that's when it started to be a little blur into what was happening next.
Okay.
So,
And remind me, what was it that you remember hitting your head on that first time?
I think I want to say it was that red and black table. I'm sorry, red and blue table that was in Gannon's room.
Red and blue table?
I feel like it was the red and blue table that was in Gannon's room because I remember, like, going back to hit my head.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And what?
as someone who has hit their
I
head,
was getting ready to ask you. I was like, as a crash test dummy, Veil,
yeah, I have hit my head an enormous amount of times, like probably on the borderline concerning.
Veil, your stories scare me because you and my youngest, most feral son seem like kindred spirits.
Yeah,
And
he
and
definitely
there are
sounds like
things
me.
that are not legal in my state to help me through his growing period right now.
Yeah. Well, so this part of her story, I can tell you is complete nonsense because, again, as somebody who has hit their head a lot, okay, it's not, it's the first one, if especially if you're hitting your head hard, right?
Yeah,
The first one is the one you don't remember anything after. It's not the second or third or whatever. No, like it's the first one. If you hit your head really hard, especially if you're not expecting it or you're in a situation where like you're fighting or something like that, like you're not going to remember because you get concussed if you hit your head that hard.
yeah.
Like
But you're
it's
also
really simple.
stunned and you're not taking in your environment. You are
Yeah.
completely kind of focused on, am I okay? Everything is a little out. I know, being the most coordinated child in the universe and my mother not insisting I wear a helmet, which I think was poor parenting on her part after having seen me try to do a cartwheel. Anywho, I was in gym one day and we were playing dodgeball when you were still allowed to play dodgeball. Now, our gym was carefully constructed with the safety of children in mind, being walled entirely in cinder block.
Of course. You know.
So I was going for the ball because I thought I was going to really become athletic at some point. Ran directly into the wall. And now
Yeah.
all I remember of the entire incident is the absolutely, and I do mean luscious and fabulous, Hall & Oates Jerry curl mullet that my gym teacher had. I just remember focusing in on each like very shiny curl for some reason. It's like they're so greasy looking, sir.
Yeah. It's
And it's so funny because that really is the only thing I can, like, I know I hit my head because my mom was like, yeah, they called me and told me and you seemed fine.
yeah.
You did the whole, number thing, with the fingers,
Yeah.
but it was like,
But it's usually everything after that though. Everything's really fuzzy. Like you don't remember exactly what happened. Like you could probably, because I'm gonna guess that like there's people around or whatever who were there who have filled you in on bits and pieces of things that
Yeah,
happen.
apparently I tried to touch his hair.
Yeah, like, but
Just
you,
pet him. Just
yeah,
like,
but you probably have no independent recollection of that. You were probably told that.
I was told that I answered everything. Like, that's so I guess I was fine. I don't know. Like, again,
Yeah,
I don't remember nearly, petting my gym teacher. Although, sir, just for you, in my head canon, you still have that luscious Jerry curl mullet wherever you are. You just held on to that hair. Gonna meet him one day and he's gonna be like, damn you. Damn.
yeah. But see, but that's the clear indicator, right? Is that you weren't fine. It's because you don't remember anything. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where people like are like, oh, like they're fine, like they can count or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's all great, but like it's the day after, and even the rest of that day potentially, like that's the part that matters, like because yeah, concussions are no joke, but yeah, this is
Yeah. Well,
this is
that's
why
why.
like her story makes no sense to me.
Well, but it's also, again, okay, let's put this and let's be, oh gosh, what's the guy from Hannibal Lecter, the one that kind of did the forensic mental detective in his head? The name is escaping me right now. But
Yeah,
it was a detective who could basically put himself in the perspective of, so let's say the perspective of Eduardo. He really exists. He's a real man with a real mustache.
yeah,
If you wanted to do unspeakable things to Letecia, ew. And you would probably, want something to stun because she's putting up a fight. So, you do knock her head and she is stunned for a couple moments. That makes sense. That she is going to go on this diatribe of, then I fought back again. The spirit overwhelmed me and I came back to life and I put up another fight because I'm atomic blonde. And it's just,
yeah. She's watched too many movies,
yeah, it,
but
and
it's
most people, again, you could have fight or flight. I will say that in my experience, a lot of women go into to freeze mode, to just, you basically start to disassociate,
yeah,
so that makes more sense to me. Again, some women, men, people, zimzers, it is 2025 and no one knows what the fuck is going on. And y'all, disclaimer, I will put a warning on this for replay. It is cold raining, so I am in full pain mode. So sorry. I do mean to tell you guys when I'm just kind of probably going to tangent. I really don't like her. Will Graham, yes. But so that makes sense. And if Letecia had stopped there, if Letecia said, you know what, I know up to this, and this is really common if you start to just, a lot of victims will say, my body was there, I wasn't. And, they may have a very clear, like, I was fighting, I got stunned, and then blur,
yeah,
just because that's your mind protecting you. So that makes a lot of sense. That would be much more believable than this, I knocked my head again and then I threw a haymaker and then it was, it was mono e mono. Only I'm not a mono because I am fully Caucasian, okay? You know, I mean, this heifer, can I make a statement? Why is it that it is not the genetic perfection that want to point out that they are purebloods?
yeah.
It is always like Cletus with the lazy eye and the one tooth.
You're not wrong. As
And
somebody,
his wife Bertha with 400 pounds on the rascal. Like, we're raising our kid right, with like the 800-pound 8-year-old with the rat tail and the latest WWE shirt on.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who used to live in the hills of Tennessee, you're definitely not wrong.
I'm not saying I've seen this at my local Walmart, but I'm not saying I haven't. Ask
Yeah,
me how I know.
yeah, yeah, and even the most famous person like that, Mustachio,
Yeah.
was not what he thought was the actual pure thing either. So, which is a little ironic, but
Well, so, Jung, the reason we keep pointing this out is earlier in the interrogation when Letecia was making up Eduardo, who happens to be Hispanic, she basically pulled like every Mexican, Speedy Gonzales level stereotype out.
yeah,
Like, basically, she described him as Edward James Olmos from Selena. Like, he was Selena's dad.
which is hilarious because what came to my mind was like Cheech from Cheech and Chong. That's what she. That's what it was, but yeah, like
But then she made the point to say, "Look, I know I look tan, but I'm white." Like, she just made the point to really point out, like, look, we're not the same. Basically did the Family Guy color chart thing. It was so, I had totally forgotten she did that, but that's why we keep bringing it up, because it just cannot be quantified how offensive this woman is on all levels.
yeah, like and there's been a few other things that she said that were kind of like
Yeah.
that is a little sketchy. Why you would say that way?
Yeah, it's the Sarah Boone subtle, not so subtle, but she thinks she's being really subtle about
Yeah,
it. It
yeah,
she has no ability to see how this works, but oh my gosh, just absolutely nuts.
yeah,
What? And you keep motioning back here. Did
Yeah,
you
like
the back of your head?
right, yeah. So like it was.
Oh, detective, don't
well,
touch
there
her
was
hair.
a couple. Like the ground was a big force, but I was also fighting back. So I don't want you to think that it would have been some sort of. And I did have like I was gonna like show you that I did have the blood in there a little bit because from the little scratch, but I did have the ability to push back some because he wasn't like.
Okay, so you've already sustained one blow to your head, and then you probably have the cheap, just like carpet on top of cement on her floor. So he is banging her head now on the floor, allegedly. So
yeah,
you've already sustained one head blow, but now you are sustaining even more.
yeah,
But you're still fighting back?
yeah. It makes lots of sense.
And again, at this point, most people, I could understand it would be important for some women to really clarify, like, I was not, this was in no way, and men, this was not consensual. I can understand them really underlying lining this, like, but from her it almost comes from a place like, I want you to know I'm strong. I want to be seen in a very superhero-y kind of light. It's more of the superhero vibe from her than the genuine, like, I want you soul deep to understand that regardless of this happening, this was not my choice. There's
Yeah,
a different tonal, I don't know, it's so subtle, the difference, but with her it's loud.
it's because if you put everything else that she has said in context with it, that's why it comes across that way. Because
Yeah,
she
and
has
it's
been
also
very weird about
direct
everything.
eye contact. So to maintain that level of real direct eye contact when you are talking about something this incredibly personal, this incredibly invasive, most people will tend to look down, maybe look off, not focus on a particular person, kind of become very introspective, again, almost there but not,
Mm-hmm.
because, again, to distance, like this happened, I'm telling this story, it happened to someone, not me, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, I watched the Papini thing this week again because I don't know, I'm weird. Um, and one of the detectives actually explained this theory as to how he has people actually do this exact thing. And he's like, imagine if you were a bluebird or any kind of bird, like on a pole down the street. What would the bird have seen? Like, describe to me what the bird would see instead of trying to tell me every little detail that you remember. Like, what would the bird have seen? What side of the car
Yeah.
did you get into? What side, or like what happened here or whatever, but explain it from somebody else's
That's a
perspective.
really good idea because it allows that distance if, and what the hell was that chick's problem? Wasn't she like cheating and she didn't want to get caught cheating? I don't know. She annoyed the hell out of me and I just didn't, I couldn't even stomach her case. So I don't
Yeah.
know but much beyond she was a faking faker.
Yeah, there I think there was, which she she was definitely cheating, had been cheating for quite a long time. Her husband knew about it. And this kind of quote unquote solved some of their problems or whatever temporarily. But she also had a history of making things up that quote unquote happened to her. And oddly enough, that we have just said all these other things about how Letecia has made some offhanded comments and stuff. Papini was incredibly racist in talking about how the
Oh,
Aryans and all this stuff, and she was
oh,
proud of
good
her German
God.
history
Oh,
and all this
for
stuff, and
the
it was
love
like,
of
yeah,
good God. No, look, as a hill chuck, we don't claim either of these people. I don't. But this does kind of follow the Papini arc and bring it back because Letecia not only claimed there was a reason that the force multipliers were in the house. Letecia claimed that there had been potential break ins several times.
yeah,
Now, again, Letecia seems to use kind of personal either victimhood or tragedy to kind of rope Al back in whenever they're having a rough spot because he finds her embroiled in some other lie or overspending or things like that. So anytime they sort of have an issue, you know, something happens.
yeah,
So, she's upset that, she has to go back to work. Suddenly there's a burglary. And, well, shouldn't she be home with the children and, keep them safe? And, then there's more. So, Albert, for reasons that I'm sure he regrets, got force multipliers in the house because, I think they made police reports. I mean, she carried it that far.
yeah,
And I do believe maybe she had an accidental discharge. I'll have to go back and look. I mean,
yeah,
but it, she had escalating sort of things. Like she would, again, very just manipulative behind the scene things. She also, accused an officer when he was stationed in Alaska of SAing her or SHing her.
yeah,
So she is the full Blake Lively.
yeah. It's not like something that this is like a one-off.
Overpowering that it was just like, here you go. And
Sure.
that sounds awful to say, but
Okay. So when you got pushed into the room, and you got pushed, like you guys are doing this battle back and forth, and you hit your head, did you end up on the ground first?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't. I just remember hitting my head, and I remember the next time I hit my head, and the second time that he came back after me and tried again. So there was
Ish, you've just spent 5 minutes explaining what happened after you hit your head the first time, and then you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, but not only that, she'd spent the previous 2 hours explaining everything that happened afterwards. So it's like, you do remember.
This detective, someone needs to send her like a bunch of cookies or something for sitting down for damn near 2 hours with this chick.
Yeah. It's the patience of her. Yes. It's just.
Yeah, because there would I would have already, like, I would have gone full blown dirty Harry. Like, there were no video cameras in the confession room. Like, I'm taking out my revolver. We are, putting freedom seeds on the table. Like, I would be done at about hour one.
Yeah. Like, are you feeling lucky, punk? Are you?
Pretty much. This is, again, which is why I should never be given power. As much as I joke about it, I'd be terrible at it.
I think most people fall into that category.
I'm just self-aware. I'm like Dumbledore. I'm like, look, I am super awesome, but don't give me the ring of power, because I'd be like the queen of awesome, but you'd love and both fear me. And
Yeah.
I'd kind of be okay with that, actually, so give me the ring.
That's funny.
Well, like I said, I know my weaknesses, which is why God will never let me actually win the presidency.
I was going to say, at least you're honest.
Yes, I can do that.
A couple of times that I kind of was
No.
in and out of it.
So what
Not to
Phrasing.
mention, I had taken lorazepam a little extra than usual. So
Oh, that's right. Holy crap, we forgot. She has maintained this level of detail while this chick downed 3 lorazepam in a day.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that. That she was high as balls on a crap ton of lorazepam.
Okay. So I'm going to share this story because it has been cold raining like the past couple days. So last night it was cold raining, and I decided to avail myself of state legal gummy alternatives to bad stuff. So I took one, and I forgot to remember how strong these were. Now, I am currently binge watching a series called Once Upon a Time, and they failed to warn a mofo. Again, they need to have, like, forget trigger warnings. We need high as balls warnings, okay? Because this episode turns into an MF musical. And I do believe that I'm having a terribly bad, like, experience. Like, I am worried for my safety. I am worried that I'm going to I'm having a stroke right now. So I am hurriedly trying to remember how my fingers work to get off of Hulu so that I can text my husband to make sure I'm not having a stroke. Now, somehow I got my fingers to work. They remembered how to type. It was very good. We had a conversation. Like, look, you're going to be okay. Just type and Mr. Mo will come help us.
Which,
I'm
having
talking
a
myself
conversation with your fingers is all you really need to know.
This is how the story goes. So poor, aggrieved, and sated Mr. Mo comes up. And I proceed to say, I'm sorry, my fingers are too high to show you the phone, but put up Hulu because I need you to answer a very important question. Okay, so Mr. Mo is now looking at me like, I think I can 5150 you at this point. Like, we're 3-day vacation for Mo. And he pulls it up, and I say, push play on this stupid ass thing. Are they singing in your head too? And he says, yes, I guess this is a song episode or something. And I said, oh, good. I thought I was having like a I thought had gotten to like the high point where I was making things in a musical. Now, I did not know there was a Liberace level of highness. Again, I am fairly new to all of this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I never even partook in anything until I started getting, I got hurt.
Yeah.
So I am over here like, did I just become a lyricist? Am I the next Lin-Manuel Miranda? I can write the next Hamilton. Although, what would I write it about? And then I was like, fucking people of Walmart coming. I think if I look at my notes thing on my computer, I probably have half a musical written or gibberish. I'll have to look at it later.
Oh my.
Yeah, the camera.
Now, the People of
If I
Walmart
don't respond to a
musical,
text, I didn't see it.
that might be something I would see. Because I think musicals are terrible. But I might want to
Well,
see that.
it wouldn't have been bad as a it was cheesy as all get out, but so is that show. So I just needed to know that it was a musical beforehand, so I didn't worry that I was having a bad trip. I feel like Netflix should realize that it's not just chill, it's also munchies. So they
Yeah.
should have munchie warnings where it's like, hey, do you still have a snack? Are you okay? Like, do you need a drink? And also, this is a musical. You're not bad tripping. I don't know. I feel like we could work together for humanity.
Yeah. They should come up with something because I'm telling you, it's not just a whole Netflix and chill.
Nope.
There's a lot of people I'm sure out there that did exactly what you did.
Look, to save people from trying to anxiety call customer service.
Yeah, exactly. You would save them a lot of money on
And,
paying people to do customer service.
and I tell that story to highlight that even though I was tipsy out of my mind, I still had a logic train of thought. Like all that story, as ridiculous and stupid as it was, there was a flow of logic that did follow through, even though it was dumb and my fingers wouldn't work because they were on strike.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there definitely has to, because I see we're coming up with we have Knit and Chill, Netflix and Chill. There has to be a way that we could come up with it. And I don't think my Bong and Chill is a good idea because you could go a few different routes that way.
Let's see, Haze and Days or Haze and Gaze.
Haze and Days. Wouldn't that be like an alternative for Haagen-Dazs? Haze and Days,
Oh
man.
my god.
I need you to go
Oh my
give me
God.
some Haze and Days, honey.
Yeah, actually, you guys just heard Mr. Mo. I don't know if it's the just ick going around, but I haven't been super hungry lately. And then all of a sudden, thanks to again non-narcotic pain alternatives, I was really hungry for Steak and Shake. So since I'm married, I already have Uber Eats, but he didn't look at my text message. So he's like, "You have to call me if you want food." And I was like, first of all, I texted you. And is that any way to talk to your boss? Like you're not going to get a 5-star rating anymore, sir. Good day. No tip for you.
I think he might have said that to you.
You know how I feel about postmarital sex. I'm against it.
So yeah, it just that's really funny. But they do need like because I don't think enough companies who like Hulu and all these other places like
Yes.
probably they're like we're aware but we don't want to acknowledge it. And it's like, dude, Snoop was
Dude,
on the Super Bowl like just a couple years ago. It's like I think it's
blitzed out of
well
his
aware
mind.
out there.
Do you think Snoop's ever been sober? Like completely off everything.
I don't know. I'm sure there was a time where a young Snoopy was out there where the world
Just
was a different
skating in the
place.
neighborhood with all the rest of Charlie Brown's gang, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden he hears Tupac one day and he's like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that as a young lad, Tupac didn't get into any of that stuff until he was a little older
Because he was a
too.
theater kid.
Exactly.
He was doing Hello Dolly
So
and
it's like,
probably poppers.
so
Theater
yeah.
kids are into some shit. Let me tell. I mean, excuse me. I mean, theater kids are good, and that's my daughter was like, "I'm going to be in the stage crew for the theater." I was like, because I was one of those theater kids, and I know. It's like, don't do anything dumb. And look, everything is recorded now, so don't do anything.
Yeah. Thank God that stuff didn't exist when we were younglings.
I know. We had little Polaroids, like those little mini Polaroids where you
Yeah.
couldn't really get good incriminating details in, so it's kind of okay.
Yeah. It was right on the edge of like when digital cameras started becoming super popular.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, Letecia, let's get back into your fighting, and you were gonna make them pay, and
It was, you know, a little bit, I don't say like, I would say, I did not know, I'm not bad, but it was
Sure.
kind of like being like zoned out a little bit.
Sure.
can confirm
It was
you
almost
do
like
seem
I was
zoned
out, like blacked out.
Okay.
Because it was one of those things where I could like hear what was going on, but I but I didn't like know what was going on, or vice versa.
What do you remember feeling?
There was not like pain as far as like your female part. I
Okay.
What the? What? What in the name of whatness? We are talking about her lady pant lumps and... Oh my god, she was talking about your emotions, you numpty. You have the
Yeah.
ability, you have the emotional IQ of a stump. And
Well,
even the giving tree had feelings, you freaking weirdo.
well, she did mention earlier when we first started this, when she said that she wanted to get into this, and she was like, "Well, I don't know about like size and stuff like that." So that I think she
Jesus, Mary.
automatically thinks that that's what she wants to know, like, like that level of detail. Not like,
Just
how did you feel?
just make it make sense. I'm going to need a doll to show where in the brain that Letecia hurt me, and it's all over.
Yeah, she's special.
Just good God. No, no. What were you feeling? Did you, again, where the hell was Gannon? Because apparently you two were busy, you know, American gladiatoring it. Where the hell was Gannon? Was he just sitting there as like an NPC and doing the little rock back and forth thing,
Yeah,
waiting for you to interact with him?
yeah, it makes not a lot of sense, but she
And
doesn't understand.
and again, how incredibly ignorant are you as a female to think that a SA kind of interrogation interview would focus in any way on peen girth or length?
Well, apparently
mean-
Tisha does.
So saying that, I know there is one particular case, the Golden State
Oh, yes.
rapist. He was a micro peener.
Yes.
So that I can understand. Like if there was something specific, I could, you know,
Yes.
very, very identifying. I could get that. But Letitia's over here like, well, he didn't have a Prince Albert that I noticed.
Yeah.
Giblet, Jesus, Mary and God.
Yeah. it's very fair. She's very strange. She's a very strange person.
And she thinks she's killing this. She's like, I am Meryl Streeping the ever living shit out of this.
Yeah.
She's like,
I'm gonna walk out of here.
She's like, I'm gonna get an Emmy for this one. Eat your heart out.
Yeah.
Feel like the pain was on the struggle of like your body was tired.
Okay.
So like it's tired in trying to like your brain's telling you don't give in, but your body is just in a tired mode.
Okay.
And that was more of like I just almost it's almost like I was giving up, but I wasn't. You know, like once we were.
It is like she watched one, law and crime special victims unit. Because she is emotionally at the level of, well, if you were into Harry Potter, you know the end where Voldemort's that like weird corroditated fetus thing?
What?
So,
I'm
too long
sorry.
didn't read, and spoiler alert if you haven't read Harry Potter in the intervening 20 years. At the end, basically, part of Voldemort's soul attached itself to Harry when he was a little kid because he killed his mom, and mom dying to protect him. Something about him made him basically the last part of Voldemort that would be alive. So Harry had to die, in quotation marks, in order to kill that part of Voldemort that was immortal, basically, or that clinging on that would have to be taken care of in order to fully kill him. So in Harry's imagination of the afterlife, it's King's Cross Station, which is where the Hogwarts Express always picks him up to go to school. And underneath one of the benches is this weird, like, sunburnt fetus, like from The Thing. So it's like the head with the spider legs kind of looking thing. Mm-hmm. And that's the corroditated part of Voldemort's soul.
Okay.
Okay, now where was I before this? Before I was explaining the corroditated fetus soul baby thing. I know I had a point.
I was gonna say, like, okay.
I love it when I've gone so far on a tangent that I can't remember where I started on the original tangent.
I was just like, all I could think of is, like, whoever wrote the book, like, what was that person taking? Like, I need to know. Because I'm curious.
To be fair, I mean, it is a weird book. It makes sense in context. If you've read all the book, it doesn't sound that weird. It's kind of like Scientology. Once you paid $30,000 or $300,000, a weird, space lord that killed a bunch of aliens in volcanoes, you just kind of roll with it.
And you said Space Lord, and I'm just like thinking Space Lord Mother. From the song from the Odds, man.
I love that you know what takes me off is out of the blue, probably around Tuesday, I am going to completely remember where this tangent was going.
That's funny.
That's how so again, I've seen many therapists in my childhood with my mother trying to understand me. None of them understood me either. But I always had to explain to them that I was like, I have nebulas of thought instead of linear thoughts, like, because things will connect kind of without me even doing it. So
yeah.
And then, of course, when they do, I have no control over my mouth hole. So I'm like, you guys, oh my God, it's not really appropriate in this sense and conversation, but I just thought of something that goes with this.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the ADHD part of your brain.
Yeah, it most likely is. And
Yeah.
the lack of impulse control. I'm like, you guys, I just thought of something brilliant. If you squint and look sideways.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, her emotional state. Thank you, Jim. God bless the chat. Yeah, so basically everyone else has a normal functioning soul, and Letitia's is so underdeveloped that she doesn't get that what this detective, even sensing BS, wants to give her at least the empathy that, you know, any human would want if they had been violated,
Yeah.
even if there was a shadow of a possibility. And Letecia is so emotionally stunted in her IQ that she doesn't get that beyond physicality what someone would be thinking, because she lacks the even sort of 4-year-old, empathy. Because 4 is about the time with young kids, if you've been exposed to a lot of them, where they do, for small little bits of outward perspective. So you kind of notice 4-year-olds, like if they're watching a show and, PJ Mask, oh no, they're in trouble. They start mirroring those emotions. Before that, it's a lot of parallel play with kids. They'll kind of play next to each other. Now, girls are more into collective play at a younger age, but you do start noticing kind of this more outward sort of, oh, very basic, like they're sad. I could understand why they're sad in that.
Yeah.
Letecia doesn't even have those basic skills. It is so fascinating to watch, almost. Fascinating in like a horrific sort of way.
Yeah. I get that. It makes sense.
Okay, I was like, I don't enjoy watching Letecia.
No, that's why like I was trying to explain this like weird fascination that I have with like Chris Watts. Like it's the same thing. It's like this dude seemingly had kind of everything going for him and all this, and then just like suddenly he started having an affair, and suddenly his family no longer existed to him in his mind. And that is something that's so far removed from my ability
Yeah.
to understand that I just find that interesting. Like not in a like I wonder what it's like to shut your emotions and stuff off way. But
Yeah, it's a
it's just
completely
really weird.
foreign. It
Yeah.
is so anathema to everything.
Yeah, no, it
Because
really is.
and I can see where we would have needed that in the past. You know, you're in a village, it's hard times, you have to raid another village, having people that can go out, raid that village, bring back supplies, keep their own safe, and not have horrible mental anguish about the other village. I could see why that was maybe a trait we needed.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
makes
it's
sense.
also, moms are really hard to understand, that because it breaks the most fundamental kind of tenet of that first initial bond. It
Yeah.
and
I
it
can understand what you're saying. Obviously, I'm not a mom, so I
well,
don't. But I
yeah, but
understand the concept of what it is that you're explaining, and it does make
yeah.
sense to me.
I mean, I could go all like Jordan Peterson and explain from an evolutionary perspective, but
And
kind
then be
of can't
slightly
do that
wishy-washy
beyond.
on everything that you say,
Yeah.
and not commit
Well,
to anything.
it depends on if he's allowed to eat meat or not. I don't know. I also, okay. The whole like went to Russia to detox from SSRIs and then became a meatitarian. The whole arc confuses me.
Well, there was the whole like thing that he was in like a weird state of coma because of some drug that he was taking or something. Like that's a weird thing that's in there as well.
Yeah, and the man has been under incredible stress. I mean, the country of Canada has, tried to continually, just destroy him. I think his wife had a health scare, so
Yeah.
I get that, you might have it was so weird. And then his
Yeah.
daughter came out of nowhere to become an influencer. I'm
Yeah, there's a lot of like, for me at least, like I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. Like I think the only thing that I have questions on is like you telling people to like, oh, clean your room, yet you're sitting over here taking like copious amounts of barbiturates to where you thought it was a great idea to go to Russia of all places in the world to detox.
Yeah, I mean, again, like if I have, screw you money, or at least like big YouTuber screw you money. Okay, I am not booking to Russia. I'm going to somewhere with a beach and a hot tub and blackjack and hookers. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Turn into
like
Bender Bending Rodriguez. I'm like, this, rehab would be a lot better if we had blackjack and hookers.
yeah, like it's a weird thing, but like yeah, that whole thing is weird. I don't know enough about it or what exactly went on or whatever to be able to say anything, but it's a weird thing. Like Letecia.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just, she is so nuts.
Yeah.
You know, I, I can't talk about my wife.
So are you saying like once did he penetrate you?
Like, I remember my clothes coming off. Not my top part.
Okay.
I remember the bottom, and I don't remember if this was the first time or on the second time, which wasn't a successful time. I remember my clothes coming off like on the bottom, and I remember having my top on.
Okay.
And I remember I was pushing, like pushing back,
Sure.
and then like, out of my mind, it was almost like a little blur because I hit my head again. Like,
Veilhammer, I'm going to put this up, but I'm doing a quick and swift calculation, so my mathing might be off. Also, I am a fan of the girl math, but
I think that's lawyer math.
yeah. So I am calculating at least 17 blows to her head in this battle royale at this point.
Yeah, and most of which are on concrete. And so, story time, kids. So,
Your
One of-
story times always
one of-
make me want to drink.
one of my head injuries. So, I was climbing a fence that was over a tennis court that was obviously concrete. And
Why? Why were you climbing the fence?
I don't remember, but I was with a
Okay.
few friends, and we had found this concrete block. I don't know. It's hard to explain what it was. It wasn't like a concrete cinder block, but
Okay, maybe like one of those, like when they make terraced walls, maybe like one of those, or
no, it was like this. It was this weird thing. Like on one side, it had like plastic or rubber on it. Like I have no idea
Oh.
what it was for.
okay, I've
But it was-
never seen one of those.
Yeah, it was probably like 8 to 10 inches long or so. Like it looked like it was made for like maybe a retaining wall or something. I don't
Oh,
really
okay.
know. So the goal was that once I got to the other side of the fence, my friend was going to throw it over. But he, in all his wisdom, as an 8-year-old with me, and I was halfway up the fence, and he decides, I can get this over. Well, let me tell you, he didn't get it over. And he hit me in the back of the head with this concrete block. And
Oh, Jesus.
it split my head open, or the concrete tennis court did. I'm not sure. I have a vague recollection of that happening, of being hit by it and falling. I don't remember anything else until I'm running across the 200-yard practice football field with my hand on my head, and I'm just covered in blood.
Jesus Christ.
And-
All I'm imagining as you are telling this story is the call that your mother, your poor sainted mother, got. Hello, Mrs. Veilhammer's mom. Hi. This is Cindy from the clinic. Yeah, no, again. Yeah. No, this one's actually a pretty bad one. Yeah, we're not sure what he was doing. He was covered. We just go to the emergency room, talk to Cynthia. She'll tell you what happened, okay?
Yeah. Well, it's much worse than that. So,
Oh,
because
God,
I was
no.
a military kid, and then we lived on base. So there was one big day a year, like typically in spring, everybody who lived in the buildings, like everyone would clean their stairwell and do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
For
and so
inspection day.
Yeah, it was that day. So I had to run across this
Veilhammer?
200-yard field, and my building was right there. And for whatever stupid reason, I ran around to the wrong side of the building. I don't know why. And then I go running down the whole front of the building, and the lovely Hispanic family that lived below us, they were outside. They were the ones who ran upstairs, and like I remember the dad like grabbing me, and he grabbed a towel that he had, and he wrapped it around my head, and I don't remember anything else from that point until like getting stitches.
Veilhammer. My soul is just dying listening to you.
But it's like,
You need to send your mother flowers tomorrow. Or booze, or both.
it was one of those things that had happened, but like, this is the thing, when you hit your head on concrete in a very violent way, there's going to be consequences of that, whether
Yes.
it's getting knocked out or being concussed or getting cut or something. Like, well, I'm not sure. Am I okay? Like, I really don't know. But like, there are things that happen when these things happen. Like, and that's why everything that she's saying, like, so this is what, 3 days after everything allegedly happened, right?
Yes.
Something like
yes.
that. Look at this woman's face. Are there marks on her face?
Is it swollen? Or, she hasn't complained of a headache. She hasn't been moving gingerly. I mean, you've got to think, if this was real, she probably started out full strength, because fight, you don't, hold back. You're expending all your potentiality. And typically humans only use, I think, 40 to 20% of their actual muscle strength just to protect their joints. And I think really good athletes can get to 60%, I think.
Yeah, but
But
the thing.
so she would be sore as hell. I mean, because it's the 2 to 3 days after where you're just like,
it's not even that. So if you have a serious concussion, and if we're legitimately at like 17 headshots, like, because I don't even know, we've lost count at this juncture.
I don't think it's 17, but I did want to put
it's
some
a lot.
stupid number.
It is a lot,
reality.
though.
It's for reality. She's already talked about multiple, possibly concussive events.
Yeah, but the one that I was just the story that I was just telling, like I didn't have a serious concussion from that. Like it wasn't like I don't remember that day, and I mean this was like Jesus, I don't even know 30 something years ago, so I don't really remember anything anyway. Like it was just so far long ago. But like
Yeah.
but I've had minor concussions actually get me to a point where like I have serious vertigo where like I'm actually like I've been prescribed anti nausea medication and stuff for vertigo from a minor one. And
Yeah.
she would have some type of side effects from this, whether it's something severe or whether it's something relatively minor. Like there would be some side effects, and she's displaying none of those. Like
Yeah.
bright lights, the lights in this room would bother me. Like,
Yeah. Possibly even smells, heightened sensitivity. So her hair would probably it would bother me, but you know, just things like that. Also, you're telling me you got SA'd allegedly and haven't taken a shower since.
yeah,
That is generally the first instinct that they tell people who have survived, please fight against that because we can get evidence. I mean, I know you want to. I know it's probably, the only thing you want to do right now, but please try not to do that.
yeah,
She had no such issue with that. It just, again, such inability to even half-ass portray a victim.
yeah. It's it's honestly gross. Like, but I mean, it's gross because of what actually happened. But it's just there's no like life experience to back up her story at all because it makes no sense.
Well, and most of us would feel, again, this would be a taboo. This would be a line too far to cross to lie about something like this, to make this up,
Yeah.
to, again, make all of this up. It would just be too much, especially when you're in an interrogation room. Like that, like, people can tell all sorts of fanciful stories on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But when it comes down to, being in an interrogation room, even if it's a soft one that's an assault on every sense, it would
Yeah.
still be way beyond most people to lie about this. And she's thinking she is selling this. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean, it's crazy. Like it really is. Like when you start really thinking about it,
Breaking it down.
yeah, which of course I'm gonna imagine that this lady, being a police officer, knows a few things about life.
Yes.
And probably has experienced some of these things before. So it's like concussions and physical things that are difficult and stuff, and of course having dealt with these SA things before and stuff, she kind of understands, like even if she's never experienced herself, she understands what people feel and things from it.
Yeah.
And she seems so devoid of any of that that
Yeah.
it's so strange.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, you're like trying to push up, like to push somebody off, and you get pushed back down and hit your head.
Okay.
And then just kind of let it. Yeah, she completed it. Like,
I'm not gonna. Here's the thing.
Letecia. FFS. If you are really reliving the whole moment, if this is the part where it's too much, you don't go from I just can't relive this to I just don't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Her, if it is so debilitating, so fresh, so hard, you don't go to the, I just can't talk about it. Can I also get another Hot Pocket and a Diet Coke if you possibly have one? Thank you, sweetheart. That is not how emotions work.
Yeah. But I would like to remind the class that Tisha went through all of this in some detail, not great detail. She went through all of this just fine, like she was telling a ghost story with her friends. Like it was no big deal the first go round. And now that they're going to
Yes.
press her on it, she's changed her tone entirely. And now she's starting to, whatever she's doing, it's not crying, um, that she doesn't want to talk about it now. It's
Yeah,
like, but
now
you
it's,
already did.
yeah, again, emotions don't work like this. It's the same thing with Sarah Boone. You know, she would get that kind of crying thing, like, I don't know what happened to him. And then she'd be like, but he's purple. Does anyone know why he's purple?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get purple. I
Yeah.
like teal, to be honest. I can't believe he chose purple.
Yeah.
And that was the tone she said it in. Like, he had become purple just to piss her off, be an
Yeah.
inconvenience to her.
Yeah. It's just such a weird, as people who I think most of us here are not crazy.
Yes.
That like it's just such a weird and off-putting thing to see somebody like this speak like this. It's just such an off-putting thing that it's a bit fascinating.
Well,
Um,
and we do have the hindsight, the 2020, of knowing exactly what she did to Gannon. So
of
we are
course.
watching this in the full knowledge that this heifer not only bludgeoned, not only, force multiplied, but also stabbed a 10-year-old boy, then put him in a suitcase in a cruel twist to the people who dedicated months to finding this little boy. You know, he was in the storage unit as she was directing officers that he had run away,
Yeah.
probably just getting an ever loving kick out of that. Then, again, just power playing with her husband's, emotions, with the mother's emotions. Oh, well, it was, Eduardo, and then it was Quincy Brown, and then it was a guy that she met on some, road to get a bike for, Al. And then it was cartels. I mean,
Yeah.
so we are going with more knowledge, which makes it all the more gross.
Yeah. But even with all of that knowledge, so like, and we haven't even touched on that, is that so we're to believe that this woman fought off a full grown man, but she had to take it to the extreme with what she ended up doing to Gannon.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be it it wouldn't be, good, but it would be relatable if she said in a fit of passion, like, I lost my temper. It'd be horrific. It would be terrible. But you could kind of understand, or at least, okay, I can rationally understand how this happened.
Yeah.
I have never heard of that, but I will have to watch her, and no, I don't think so. But I haven't done that 23andMe because somehow giving my DNA to both a company and the government just sets off my Dale Gribble meter.
Yeah, well, and the if it makes anybody feel better, who's given their DNA to 23andMe, the lady who is the head of 23andMe is married to one of the executives at Google. So have fun with that.
Well, my mother she tried to get me that for Christmas, and I was like, Mom, I'm too conspiracy theory. That would just, if I would not want you to waste your money on something we wouldn't use.
Yeah,
I'm
Especially
pretty sure I'm some level of Irish because I can't go in the sun. But that's about all I need to know.
yeah. Yeah.
Is that this conversation, like what we talk about, is not. I'm not going to run and talk to your husband about, or his ex-wife, or anything else like that. Okay.
I was just gave, I don't want to say give in, because I didn't agree to it, but at that point it feels like I did give in.
Okay. And thank you for telling me that. I appreciate that. When you say that you gave in and that he completed it, do you?
I don't remember about, when I say completed, I mean as in I was able to have that bolt of energy to get up.
Oh, miss me with this. Look, I had to retreat within my fortress of inner solitude to find my inner, badass. But as soon as I found that, I fought him like a she-devil. No. We are officially calling this. I can deal with no more Letecia with freezing rain. I am going to start using words that will get me instantly demonetized, and or saying I would like to do things to Letecia that would get me instantly demonetized. Speaking of that, though, guys, in a soft grift, I did make a new t-shirt. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, of course I shut Canva down. Oh, there it goes. So it will look like that. Oh, damn. I took out the thing. Anyways, that's what it will look like. And it is Screw Yourself Sideways with a cactus. I think it's possibly the only thing constructive we learned from Letecia today is possibly we could learn if we could do this with science.
Yeah. She's a special one that can only be handled in small doses.
Just the angle makes her look so trollish. I have a sample coming in, so I hope John, it is a t-shirt, so I have a sample coming in. I am using Teespring, so it should be coming in the next week, so I should be able to model it. And Mr. Mo's going to yell at me for buying more stuff when I have at least 3 rooms partially full with my crap. You guys, I think I might need to call hoarders because Mr. Mo's like, you have way too much stuff. And I'm like, but I need it all.
Yeah, that's always a fun discussion.
Look, I have gotten rid of a lot of stuff, but I've gotten a lot of stuff for future functional me, and I think I do like that present me is always so optimistic that one day I am going to, have a full schedule and I'm going to devote time specifically to work and not screw off and do crafts at another all the time. So I love that future me is very organized.
Yeah.
But then I get to the future and present me is still a hot mess. So
Yeah.
there is something wrong with the system.
Yeah, no, I get it. I have gone through that process of purging things a number of times, and I'm down to a point where it's like I'm not getting rid of any guitars. Well, maybe one. But
if I get rid of one, then I can replace it.
Yeah, well, I'm to the point where I'm not kidding. I literally bought a duplicate of a guitar. I bought the exact same thing, just in a different color.
Okay, cannot shame you because have bought multiple A and B copies of, Sailor Moon figurines because Sailor Moon's holding, a tiara in one and then she's smirking in the other.
Yeah. I mean,
So, you know,
it's a thing. It's a, it's a
have
thing.
have no, when they're like, let he without sin cast no stones, I'd be like, y'all, I'm out. Like, I wouldn't even step up to the crowd. I'd know, like, no, no. Look up.
At least you're aware.
I try to be aware of my foibles.
Yeah.
I'm constantly at step 1 of the 12-step program, acknowledging I have a problem.
Yeah. I mean, it is technically step 1. And if you haven't got there yet, then you can't surpass to the next one.
I know, so I feel good that I've even acknowledged it. I give myself a participation award for that.
You're acknowledging that you need to acknowledge that you have a problem.
Eventually, next Monday, I am going to get to it. It's like when you're fluffy, but your diet's always starting like some Monday in a nebulous future of never.
Yeah. That does that sound like with jackets?
I was wondering if you were
I was like, what?
I'm so confused.
With the jackets?
Oh, when I bought all the jackets, yes. That is me when I bought all the jackets. For some reason at 3 a.m. with full insomnia, I decided again, nothing that I can logically pin down, but it was very important at that moment that I get a bunch of blazers because I do the news. And this company makes like really cool, they look like semi real professional blazers, but on the inside the fabric can be, I've got a white one that's so it's got like Pennywise the clown and a little embroidered balloon on the outside, and then one,
Oh.
for some fucking reason unknown to humanity, I got this this like goldenrod yellow velvet blazer in case I ever need to be in a marching band or I don't know, a Shriner.
That,
It
yeah.
it is exactly like Nicholas's banana yellow suit.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, sometimes you buy things like,
I think it was only like $4. So honestly, again, if I ever need to be an usher at a Shriner funeral, I guess.
yeah, like it's a problem how easy it is to buy things like today. Because like here's a great example. So I'm actually kind of stoked about this. So I bought a head shaver, like an electric
Ooh.
head shaver, and it got
Is
here
it the
today.
one with all the five little things, and it looks like kind of one of those head massagers, but it's supposed to get up all the divity parts?
Yes, it's kind of like that, but it's specially designed for your dome. So like
Ooh.
it looks very strange because of like just how it's shaped, because it's designed specifically for your head and not your face. And I am hoping that this thing is going to make my life easier. So
Well, I can imagine it's hard to use a Lady Bic on the back of your head.
I I have never bicked my head. I've always used like a real razor, or I got into using a safety razor, which may or may not have been a mistake. Especially just advice, fellas, if you decide to shave your head, don't use a safety razor if you got some bumps in there. All the head injuries,
Oh,
I've got
oh,
some bumps in my head, so
oh.
I don't recommend a safety razor for your head if you have some scar tissue up there.
It It would seem that the name does not mean. I feel like I'm in Princess Bride. That word doesn't mean what you think it means. Safety razor.
I don't
Cut
actually
a
know
bitch.
why they call it a safety razor exactly, but in some
Well, I guess because
circumstances,
those little knife things that the barbers used to use were incredibly dangerous. So I guess, something with a handle seemed safer.
well, it's the way that they're designed. So like I get it because like I have like the the little razor that it comes like the safety razor mechanism. It has a little
Oh,
handle, but the way that it works is like the razor sits in between like kind of two metal plates, so you can't just outright cut yourself with it. And if you're even if you're using the razor itself, if you're not actually using it at just the right angle, it won't cut anything.
yeah. As someone who has been blessed with the mutant superpower of being able to cut her ever living shite out of her shins, no matter what safety product has been invented, that sounds like a horrible idea for me to use.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I would recommend for everybody, especially if you're in a hurry.
Yeah, no.
Because when you're in a hurry, safety kind of is one of the first things that goes out the window.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
not recommended.
All right, you guys. So we are going to end here because I think Letecia will give me a migraine with her stupidity. I've seen it happen before. It's like my body, there's a very thin line. I can get almost to the point where cringe-lariousness gets so epic. The cringe becomes so big that it actually gives me a migraine.
Yeah, I get that.
So I am going to head on off of here, see if the children need me to feed them, which they probably do. And then tomorrow I am going to try to at least finish up the morning of day 2 on the Megan Boswell case, maybe start into day 3. We are woefully behind. But, the Petty Express arrives exactly on schedule, like a wizard, just when you need it. Not, chronologically, because that'd be fucking weird for me. Anywho, I'm gonna leave before I drop any more F bombs because that apparently is my other superpower. Bye, you guys.
Yeah.